Vlad the Impaler. 5 hidden truths history tried to hide. They called him a monster, a tyrant, a bloodthirsty ruler. But what if the story you know about Vlad the Impaler, the man who inspired Dracula, is only half the truth? Behind the tales of cruelty lies a far darker, more complex history that few dare to tell. Was Vlad truly a sadistic killer? Or was he a ruler forced into brutality by betrayal and politics? In this video, we'll uncover 5 hidden truths about Vlad the Impaler that history tried to bury. Get ready. What you're about to hear will change everything you thought you knew about Dracula's real origin. Hidden truth number 1. A prisoner of his childhood. Long before Vlad became known as the Impaler, he was just a boy trapped in a deadly game of power. At the age of 11, he and his younger brother Radu were taken hostage by the Ottoman Empire. To most, this was a political bargain, but for Vlad, it was a nightmare that shaped his obsession with loyalty and betrayal. Imagine being a child, surrounded not by family, but by guards and enemies who constantly reminded you that your life hung by a thread. Vlad learned to read not only books, but the eyes of his captors, mastering fear, manipulation, and ruthlessness. While Radu grew close to the Ottomans, even converting to Islam, Vlad simmered with resentment. He saw his brother's compliance as weakness, even treason. Those years of imprisonment forged the man history would later call a monster. Every lash of humiliation, every whisper of betrayal, planted seeds of paranoia and brutality. Vlad's cruelty was not born from nowhere. It was the twisted gift of his stolen childhood. And when he finally returned home, he would unleash those scars upon the world, ensuring no one would ever hold power over him again. Hidden truth number 2. Terror as a weapon of politics. When most people hear Vlad's name, they picture fields of corpses impaled on wooden stakes. A vision so terrifying it became legend. But what many don't realize is that this wasn't random cruelty. It was calculated psychological warfare. In the 15th century, Wallachia was a fragile state caught between the hungry jaws of the Ottoman Empire and the Kingdom of Hungary. Vlad knew he couldn't match their armies in sheer numbers, so he turned fear into his deadliest weapon. When Ottoman envoys refused to remove their turbans before him as a sign of respect, Vlad nailed the cloths to their skulls. Entire invading forces marched into forests where thousands of their comrades hung impaled, swaying in the wind like grotesque warnings. Soldiers described it as walking into hell itself, and many fled before a single sword was raised. To his enemies, he was a demon. But to his supporters, this terror kept Wallachia free from conquest, at least for a time. Vlad understood something rulers still use today. Fear can be more powerful than any army. His brutality was not madness. It was strategy, and it worked. Hidden truth number 3. Betrayal runs in the blood. If cruelty was Vlad's weapon, then betrayal was the curse that haunted his every step. Wallachia was not a land of loyalty. It was a throne surrounded by daggers. The boyars, the local nobles, shifted allegiance whenever it suited their power. And Vlad learned this lesson the hard way. His own father, Vlad Dracula, had been murdered by these same nobles. And his elder brother Mircea was brutally tortured and buried alive. From that moment, Vlad's hatred burned deep. When he seized power, he swore vengeance. In one of his most infamous acts, he invited hundreds of boyars to a grand Easter feast. But instead of celebration, it became a death sentence. Some were impaled, others forced into brutal labor, constructing his fortress at Ponari. For Vlad, this was not simple cruelty. It was justice carved into flesh. Yet betrayal followed him still. Even his beloved brother Radu, once his companion in Ottoman captivity, turned against him and allied with the Sultan. Surrounded by traitors within and enemies without, Vlad came to trust no one. His reign was not built on alliances, it was built on fear, vengeance, and the belief that only the stake could silence betrayal. Hidden truth number 4. The church's double-faced history often paints Vlad as a savage beast. But the church's role in his story is far more complicated than most realize. To the Orthodox Church of Wallachia, Vlad was a defender of the faith, a ruler who stood against the Islamic expansion of the Ottoman Empire. He funded monasteries, restored churches, and was even praised in local chronicles as a protector of Christianity. Yet in Western Europe, particularly among Catholic leaders, Vlad's reputation was deliberately blackened. The printing press, newly spreading across Europe, became a weapon against him. Pamphlets described him drinking blood, roasting children, and dining among corpses. Many of these stories were exaggerations, if not outright fabrications, crafted to turn him into a symbol of barbarism. Why? Because politically, Vlad was inconvenient. He challenged Hungary, defied powerful nobles, and refused to bend entirely to Rome's authority. Thus, the same man hailed as a holy knight in the East became demonized as a bloodthirsty monster in the West. The Church did not invent Vlad's brutality, but it magnified it, shaping his legend into the Dracula we know today. Truth and propaganda merged, and history blurred into horror. Hidden truth number 5. The man behind the monster beneath the blood-soaked legends. There was still a man, one history often forgets. Vlad was not only a ruler of terror, but also a father, a husband, and a strategist who dreamed of securing Wallachia's independence. He married twice, sought alliances with neighboring rulers, and even corresponded with Matthias Corvinus, the king of Hungary. To his loyal subjects, he was not a monster, but a protector who crushed thieves, punished corruption, and brought order to a land long torn by chaos. Yet Vlad's humanity is what makes his story all the more tragic. He fought not for conquest, but for survival, trapped between two empires that sought to devour his homeland. His methods were savage, but his goal was clear: to keep Wallachia free at any cost. In the end, he was betrayed, captured, and executed, his head displayed in Constantinople as proof of his downfall. But death could not kill his legend. Stripped of nuance, Vlad the Man became Dracula the monster, immortalized not as a defender of his people, but as the embodiment of darkness itself. History tried to hide the truth, but in doing so, it created a myth that still terrifies the world. So who was Vlad the Impaler? Sadistic tyrant, a cunning strategist, or a tragic hero betrayed by the very world he tried to protect? The truth is far darker and far more human than the Dracula myth we've inherited. Behind every tale of cruelty lies politics, betrayal, and survival, the true face of medieval power. If these hidden truths shocked you, imagine what other secrets history has buried. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel. Join us as we continue to uncover the darkest stories the past tried to hide.